Um, I guess Hotep, much libations to all nations. Blessings. Shout outs to whoever. Anyway, so it seems to appear that all of a sudden we have this brand new awakening, like greater than the sexual revolution of the '60s, greater than the whole experimentation age. We just got out of that. Now they trying to introduce this bullshit they call the 50 Shades of Grey issue. This is called the 50 Shades of Grey conspiracy, and what we're gonna talk about is the color of gray, the S and M sadomasochistic thing. We're gonna talk about sex, the dominant and the superior, what relationship that has, and what type of balance that has. And we're also gonna talk about the senses, like different senses that can be released with different techniques, and that can channel certain shit in the they can trigger certain shit in the brain. There's a thing of rape and control where there's somebody like they have to. We're gonna just talk about those two things. There's self control, self restraint, which leads to power. There's that little thing of, oh yeah, I can control myself. That means I have all control. Actually, you probably don't. Then there's the issue of when the dominant becomes the submissive. That's an issue. That's an issue because when the dominant becomes the submissive, it's a whole nother level with that one, and that's where you get the 50 Shades free. Me personally, I've been through the whole thing. I didn't read all the books. Let me see. And then we go talk. We're also gonna finish it off with the compartmentalization and abuse. I'm sorry, I'm jumping around, jumping around. Now, anyway, starting with the color. Now, 50 Shades of Grey. I'm not sure exactly how many shades of gray there actually are. I know that there's a lot. There might be over 50 million. I remember back in the days, these kids got these little new video game systems and stuff. I remember back in the days, your colors was limited. They only had so many colors that was just like an actual color that they wanted to use. So certain artists are very familiar with how many colors there actually are and how you can bend these colors. Gray is a mixture of black and white. Let me repeat this now. Gray is a combination of black and white. We see cement that has a little bit more white than the black. You see stuff like whiteout and stuff like that, but that is the black and white, the yin and yang, the positive, the negative, the black people, whatever. Whatever. Point is, it's that balance. They're trying to find that balance. This guy. First of all, in order to be a Christian Grey, right, you got to be real backed up. Like this dude probably didn't get any pussy for a good 2 years straight before he met Anna Steele, and this stuff exploits like a lot of the relationships and like the because you think about it, you would swear that whoever wrote this was definitely some male chauvinistic pig. He is the guy that was always like, yeah, women are supposed to do what I tell them to do, and that's where it is, because I'm the man. Nah, motherfucker, is a lady. Didn't go by the real name, though. Suspicious? Absolutely. Considering the idea that this guy was a rich guy, right? We're just saying rich, like, because you got to be in certain circles to have certain millions, and also, he had like the secret little room. He has this little secret little thing. This little, he's a little bit of a weirdo. He got like his little secret identity and shit, but it plays with that. It plays with that. So it like plays with the character of Mr. The character of the guy that just wants the girl to be a sex slave kind of thing. But he switches it though, because here's the genius of Mr. Gray. Here's the genius of Mr. Gray. Mr. Gray coloring. First of all, you know, every man needs to have themselves a great tie. If they don't have themselves a great tie, you know what I mean? I don't know, man. Motherfuckers need to get better jobs and shit. Step your suit game up, man. Step the suit game up. Motherfuckers don't know how to wear suits. Anyway, the genius of Mr. Gray is he's doing this to this woman's pleasure, and she's like trying to explore her own pleasure, and he's trying to send her to the fucking max, and yet it's a thing of control through pleasure. You know, it's the same thing like being pussy whipped. You could be dick whipped. Having somebody addicted to a certain form of sex that they can't get anywhere else. You know, it's like having somebody addicted to like that one strain of heroin. So whenever they go try to get the same shit, they could never find it. So it's like there's certain things that you can do to a person with S&M. You know, it's funny how S&M, SNL, you seeing all the shit going on with that. You know, it just happened recently. It's 2015. It's the end of February. You know what I mean? Pisces season representing. Anyway, SNL, you know what I mean? Sadomasochistic, you know. Then you got the Sado, whatever, with the L, you know what I mean? I don't know what the fuck that is, but it's probably something. Probably something. When we first heard about the SNL movement, the SNL movement. When we first heard about the S&M movement, I don't know why I even put that there. It was a thing of people getting off because they're getting off being in a submissive role to somebody that's like abusing them to some degree. A lot of these guys are not really getting fucked, I might add. You know, like there's a whole lot of stuff, like a whole lot of whipping, a whole lot of chains, like, oh, Jacob, you piece of shit. And like, oh yeah, oh yeah, and they get off on that. I honestly believe that is a spirit coming straight out of hell. All right, a spirit coming straight out of hell. It's the spirit of wanting to be tortured. Okay, it's that like love of torture, and the thing is, you can torture a person sexually, and that's what Mr. Gray is into. Yeah, she ain't know who she was fucking with, but she gonna go ahead and, you know what I mean? Don't get me wrong. He sat there and he broke down. You know, you gotta give the dude his credit. He sat there and he broke the shit down for the woman. Like, yo, listen, bitch, this is what I'm into. You can't handle it. You know what I mean? You just gonna have to get out of this shit. But yo, you sign the contract, it's gonna be on. You know what I mean? I'm gonna have you in that red room all tied up and shit, and you just gonna have to fucking take it. You just gonna have to. I promise you, we'll have safe words and shit. But hey, you know, I'm a little bit freaky. You know what I mean? The worst part was when he took that belt out. That was terrible. I was having flashbacks of my childhood. If we take the belt out, like pow, like haha. I mean, and all jokes aside, like all that stuff is fun. When you have an amateur and you do that particular thing, you can't give them what a 6 freaking spanks. Cause I did that shit on one of these chicks back in the days, man. You know what I'm saying? Like she was like, "Who spanked me?" I was like, "Oh, I'm gonna get my belt and I'm spank." You're like, "Yeah, spank me." I'm like, "All right, cool." I did it like twice. I said, "How you feeling?" She said, I'm good. Oh, you guys, you just spank me more. Like, nah, I ain't gonna do it. Grabbed the belt, started spanking me. It was a long story short. Point is, that kind of shit, it's like, you should never put a woman in that situation where in order to enjoy sexual gratification, she has to get hurt physically. And the sad thing about those things is when it is a pleasurable thing, it can turn real nasty real quickly. It can turn into like, you know, you can really have scars off of this shit. It could turn deadly. People are like choking themselves and shit. But a lot of the stuff that happens, a lot of these, there's a lot of gay guys that do this stuff. There's a lot of most of the girls that I know about that do this stuff. They're usually getting paid for it. You know, they're usually getting paid for it. You know, so it's like, where do you go from there? Nah, this chick writes this book, Worldwide Phenomenon. All these girls are reading this book, inspired to fuck a little harder. At the same time, I'm sure what they can relate to is that little controlling of the self. You know what I mean? Controlling of the senses. You know what I mean? There's plenty of different ways, like the way he had the whip on not on the ass, but like it's just like on the stomach. There's certain stuff that you could touch. Like a lot of women, like they're dressed up uncomfortable sometimes. You know what I mean? So like you're not gonna be able to. They're not gonna be able to feel certain stuff. But when all that clothes comes off, and they just got the titties jiggling out, you can touch it. You can touch any old thing. You know what I mean? They can get, and like it also plays with the idea of foreplay too. Foreplay was a big factor in this movie, big factor. Now I ain't gonna lie to you. You know, I ain't gonna lie to you. The dude seemed rapey. He seemed kind of rapey. You know what I mean? He seemed a little rapey. And the sad part is when the girl is like, she agrees to certain stuff. It's like when you agree to, when you say yes, you know, like a man finally, you know, whatever, ladies, when you know you gonna let him hit, and he's like, all right, I'm gonna hit. You know, there's no turning back from that. You know what I mean? You can either act like you want to stop, or you can adjust his pace so you don't feel like you are being raped. You know what I mean? It's different stuff with that, and he plays with that. He played with that through the whole thing, especially when he broke the virginity. I don't mean to break down every single thing that happens, but when it comes to self control, it's like you have to be able to in relationships. There has to be a give and take, obviously, but there's also got to be the need for each person to have their own space. I'm gonna get into that on the next side of this. I'm about to hit 12:30. Part 2 coming up on the next hit. Peace.